So James and I just saw Black Bag. Let's talk about the gist. What'd you think? It's a new... Yeah. It's the new Steven Soderbergh, David Koepp, however you say his name. It's the second Steven Soderbergh, David Koepp movie we've seen this year.
I bet it's David Koepp. Or Koepp. I bet it's Koepp.
Okay, who cares? Anyways, well, I'm sure he cares.
They did Presents a couple months ago.
Yeah, that was extraordinary. I didn't think this movie was bad. I think I thought it was going to be better.
I really liked it.
I knew you would.
I love the intrigue. I love that they had such high stakes, but they didn't have to have any guns ablazing the whole time.
Yeah.
I like that it kind of was almost like this. It's almost like it all took place in the office. They never left.
I thought they did really great with the production design and the locations, the way it was done with where they filmed it. Yeah. It did feel like this sexy, chic spy office, you know?
Yeah, it was and they didn't really go into too much detail about who these people were. You just kind of understood that they were into some deep stuff, and that they were very you kind of knew they were spies, but you kind of weren't sure. And I was they were into they were just, all you knew was they were into surveillance, and but it was kind of neat to see.
Well, they're spies and assassins, but it was just kind of an accepted world.
Yeah, but it wasn't all they did was be assassins all the time. I liked how clever they were. It felt very real, in how they operated.
Yeah. Well, I really liked the beginning, how it set up all the relationships and the dynamic with the friendship. I thought that was really well done, and I thought they really did a good job of the shot out of the gate of here's the inciting incident. This is what he's going after. It's very clear about what his mission is. Don't make fun of me, what I'm doing. And I also really liked the concept of it. This concept of you can just hear it, right? As someone's coming up with this idea. Well, what if there are these two spies, assassins, and they're so loving and devoted to each other, but...
Because you think, because of, it's almost like a cliche, thanks to Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and it's probably the only example I can think of, but maybe that was the motivation, was that you think that the movie's going to show these two very talented spies. It's kind of a spoiler alert, but...
Oh, wait. Well, yeah, I mean... Yeah, spoiler alert, we're going to start talking about things in the movie.
Yeah, so they I love how they set it up as if they're going to pit these two against each other, and it's going to be such a shock to their marriage and stuff, and how could you do this to me? I trusted you. But but that was the big twist, was that people were taking advantage of their committed, what appeared to be a very successtal marriage.
Well, that's what I liked. The point of the film was
they caught it. And I thought that was so clever.
Yeah, the point of the film was that their love and their commitment to each other and who they were and who they are is stronger than all of it, and almost they both have so much integrity.
Yeah.
That it's like bigger than all of it. I think the only thing, and maybe I just need to watch it again, you know, the only thing that like just had me be like, I personally don't like in movies, and like I don't know how they could have done this differently to have it land differently. I don't like in movies when it's like, and it was actually this, and then and then this moment here, and then this is like, and they're putting all the pieces together in front of each other, which I don't know how they could have done it differently. It's just that's such a common trope.
Talking about the ending?
Yeah, the ending. Like, whenever... so that's just... The only thing that was there for me was like, we've seen this before, and like, I found myself getting like lost in it a little bit, and I just get annoyed with stuff like that. Even though he was very meticulous and like kind of OCD and like anal, so it's like he was kind of like laying it out for you to, you know...
Yeah, but
Anyway, I don't, like I said, I don't know how they could have done it differently, but just that part, I was like, kind of like,
He was setting up the trap because he wasn't quite sure. Well, he was sure who it was, so he was trapping him. But it's also just a fun nod to like Agatha Christie and like those classic kind of mystery detective stories too. And plus, it's like, you know, you like short-ass movies, and I'm sure they could have dragged it out like other spy movies have done and maybe revealed it in a different way.
No, for sure. No, I understand.
But the fun was in those characters being in those conversations and kind of the quick one-upping of each other and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, kind of showing like these young officers, if you will, of whatever this organization was, trying to pull one over the old guard and failing. So yeah, it is a cliche, but it's also, I think, a pretty satisfying one if it's done well, and I thought they did it pretty good.
No, I know. I like I said, I just, whenever they do that in movies, I'm like, it's hard for me not to be like, here we go. And like I said, I don't have a solution. I don't know what they could have done differently to have it not occur that way to me. Maybe it might have just been like the mood I was in. My favorite part was when she said to them, I really love that, I love that you guys, tried to save all these people's life, but basically if you ever fuck with my marriage again, I'll fucking like fuck you up, basically. Like, you like got her like commitment to them, and I don't know, their relationship was so clear, which was the coolest part. And it was also really interesting when he was talking to the surveillance woman and basically saying like, well, this is our lives, and we know that we watch each other and we fully trust each other, but it's also like, I can't explain it.
Well,
it's not that
the point he was making is that it's vital to their relationship that they watch each other because of the business that they're in.
Yeah.
He needs to know what she's doing at all times because she might get into trouble. And she was in trouble. They were trying to set her up.
Yeah.
And if he wasn't looking, they might have got away with it.
So it's like, to some people on the outside, it would look like, oh, well, you don't trust, but it's like, that's actually like the ultimate like commitment and trust, that they were doing that.
Like, she's trusting him, that he's watching her, and he trusts her to do the same.
And it's kind of cool to think too that like, even as they were trying to set each other up, like, he had such integrity, he had to investigate it. There was no way that he would assume or jump to any conclusions, which was proven by the ending, that like, even though he could have killed the guy in the boat and he was pretty positive it was him, he had to actually hear the guy confess it before they took anything against him.
Right.
Which I thought was pretty cool. But
get over here. This fucking guy. Shit. God.
Cate Blanchett and Michael Fassbender are unbelievably amazing. So were the other friends. But like, one of the things I was just saying to James is a testament to me of like a really, really good actor is, can they do like kind of a more normal role such as this and be so nuanced and so believable, but also their character is so distinct. And I feel like they do such a good job of that. And I don't know, they had this kind of like aspirational lifestyle where I'm like, ooh, I want like, they had all these like silk like bed.
Maybe we could be spies.
And like silk bed robe things. You were mentioning the guy from Bridgerton. I can't ever remember his name.
Sexy McSexerson?
Yes. I actually, now that I've seen him in multiple things, I actually don't think he's that good.
He's good
Like,
in these types of roles because this is like his niche.
But like, I want him to, I know what I mean is
He
like.
was really good in Dungeons and Dragons too, but still he doesn't veer too far out of his kind of.
I guess what I'm saying is like, he's not awful, but like, I just have such an expectation for British actors to be like always fucking extraordinary, and I really do hope and want him to get better.
Yeah,
I think he's pretty
the fact
he's very one note.
The fact he's so beautiful does a lot of heavy lifting for me.
Exactly, he's very one note.
And I'm like,
I was like,
hey,
perfect
I'll
example,
take it,
like,
but it's like
one of the things that was so crazy to me that like
yeah.
that I was thinking of when he was speaking, because
maybe 20 years from now when he's not as beautiful, he's still going to be beautiful, but maybe by then he'll have become a better actor.
If he keeps training and he keeps like working at it. Like, one of the things I kept thinking about is like this thing that like Berg, my acting teacher, would always say when he would work with people and stuff.
#Berg Studios.
Oh my god. It's like, this is not an advertisement for that. One of the things that he would always work with us and say is he would have us do different exercises to basically have us notice how we'd memorize saying something in a certain way or a certain inflection, but it was having us lose just the pure communication of the lines in the story. And if you're a good actor, or you're doing certain things that have you be good acting in the moment, I guess is a better way to say that, is then the audience understands what you're trying to communicate effortlessly. And there was a moment where I was watching the couple scenes between him and Michael Fassbender, right? On the boat, and even before, where when Michael Fassbender was I completely understood what we were talking about. But when it would switch to him, because he was doing a lot of like informational type speeches, that if you don't know what you're saying or you don't know how to communicate that in a good way, the audience will be lost. There were several times he was talking, I was like, huh? Like, I didn't understand. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I think that the cleverness and the skill of the writing was that he was saying all that mumbledy-jumbledy gobbledygook, which is like great if you actually heard it, whatever. But even I think if you actually heard it, you probably still wouldn't understand, because I think it was just kind of establishing that like this is how these people have to speak because they've been doing this for so long. They're spies. This is their language. But I missed a lot of that too. But they always had these very clear moments of dialogue that kind of still established what was actually happening.
No, for sure. This is not a thing against the writing. This is the thing against specifically him as an actor. Yeah. If he as an actor was better, we would have understood it more.
Yeah.
Because that's what was so crazy to me, is I would watch him and he would be like, da-da-da-da, and I'd be like, huh? I lost that. And I just kept having these flashbacks to when I was in class, and Berg would like work with someone on something and be like, we didn't get what you said. Communicate what you're trying to say and have us get it. And then someone would do it, and then all of a sudden I would hear the scene. All of a sudden I was like, oh, that's what they're communicating. But I never had that with Michael Fassbender, and I never had that with Cate Blanchett, because they're better actors.
Michael Fassbender, great actor.
Anyway.